Because there's a question that I see asked a lot in my videos, and it is, why do you still care about World of Warcraft? Like, why do I still talk about WoW, the state of WoW, and and I still react to WoW videos and stuff like that? Like, why do you care? Why is it that, not even just me, but like, why is it that so many World of Warcraft players still care, right? That's a question that a lot of people ask. And I wanted to try to make an analogy or something of that nature to try and explain why. And I think that obviously one of the big reasons is nostalgia. That's obviously a big reason. Nostalgia, hands down. But it's like, it is nostalgia to almost like a different level. Because if you think about it, right? Like, to give you guys an idea, let me just grab some background footage to have play in here while we talk about that. Like, look at this thing, this video. This is my first like big popular video. It's got 290,000 views, and it was uploaded 11 years ago. This was me as I was enjoying World of Warcraft the most. Like, this is literally the best that WoW ever was for me. I'm actually playing this on a Mac. Like, I'm legit playing this on a Mac right now. Like, you see this thing? This was a software called ScreenFlow that would give you all of these nice fancy effects automatically, which if you see here, like all of the the angled camera angle with little reflection and whatnot. And I think that this is like actually running WoW max settings at 1440p. This is like an iMac from 2009. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty freaking decent. And it's also recording on the Mac itself, because at the time I did not have like a double like whatever. But anyway, so this is like 11 years ago, right? And it's like just the thought of this. Just the thought of running this instance, because I really loved this instance in particular. I really, really liked it. It's a really cool instance. This was back in Wrath of the Lich King, right? And this is like the first guide that I've ever made. It's not a good guide, by the way. It's a terrible guide, because I would just be trying to tell people, my warrior rotation so that they would understand how to do it, which is the terrible way of doing things. Like, I'm doing it on the fly, so I'm actually playing with this camera over here. I'm actually playing it at the same time. But look at how clean my UI was. It's not even nowadays, like, you look at a WoW Raiders UI and it's just like a complete clusterfuck, and look at how clean my UI was back then. I worked a long time to getting this UI to work. I'm not exactly sure why I even had the threat meter here, Omen, because like threat was never a problem during Wrath of the Lich King. I guess it was just mostly because of Burning Crusade, because back in Burning Crusade it's unlimited. But anyways, going back to the question still, why is it that you care? And like, this is why. Because I had a lot of fun when I was doing this. And you can just call it nostalgia, you can call it whatever you want, but this was extremely fun. And if you actually even think about it, because like now it's easy for people to say, even myself, I constantly say, man, people that like WoW, you should really try Final Fantasy XIV, because Final Fantasy XIV is amazing. And it is doing basically what WoW was doing, except it's doing it a million times better. Right? Because 14 is just a superior product at this point. It's completely undeniable, and it finally has actually caught up to the point where players have gotten so much crap from Blizzard that they're just kind of done dealing with it, and they're finally moving away from it, which actually has gotten 14 to finally, receive what it has deserved. But back then there was no 14. I mean, actually, this was when 14 1.0, close to when 14 1.0 came out, which, as we all know, was a terrible flop. Like, most World of Warcraft players wouldn't even consider playing Final Fantasy XIV because, World of Warcraft was at its peak in Wrath of the Lich King. And so it's like, you look at this, right? And you just, you have these memories of all of this, of doing this. And now think of it like this. There's a lot of people that I know for a fact, people that love the Legend of Zelda series, right? There's a lot of people that love the Legend of Zelda series. And when you're talking to one of those people, they'll be like, "Oh, dude, Ocarina of Time is like the best thing ever," right? And the thing is, you can go back and you can play Ocarina of Time. You can play Ocarina of Time in the 3DS. You're going to be able to play Ocarina of Time in the whatever Nintendo expansion thing, which, yeah, I know it's expensive as hell. Hell, you can emulate Ocarina of Time. Let's be reasonable here, right? So it's like you can have that experience that you remember from your childhood. But when it comes to World of Warcraft, the whole situation has devolved to a point where most players that actually enjoyed the game, we can't enjoy the game anymore because the game is simply not enjoyable. Because you see, back here, what I'm doing right here, right? I'm running an heroic instance. Like, you think I need gear from this? You think I need gear from this place? You think I need tokens from this place? You think I need anything from here? I don't need anything. Like, my character's decked out in, like, raid gear. It's like, I don't need anything from this place. There's no reason for me to do this. So why would I do this? I did this, and I ran heroic dungeons all the time because at the time,
so grossly incandescent.
Good day at Rurikhan FF. Mystic Quest is a hidden gem.
The hell is Mystic Quest? Is that like is that a Final Fantasy game? Sure. Ben Soul Reaver, thank you very much for being real and get us for 27 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate it. But it's like, you see that at the time there was no Mythic, so Heroic was like the most challenging 5-man content that you had, and I would just constantly run Heroics because it was fun. You know, in a lot of ways, the same reason why I still run Experts like on a daily basis. Do I need the tokens? Not really. Like, sure, I'll use them. I don't really need them. They're not really needed. But I still like running it, right? Like just before we were talking about this, I was running Expert. I just like tanking. Right? I just like tanking. I just like doing this. And the thing is, you guys can say, well, you can do that now in WoW, right? You can go and you can run. No, you can't. If I wanted to just do this that I'm doing here, I actually can't do it right now in World of Warcraft. Like, I can't just jump into the game and start playing it. There's probably like, I don't know, I would imagine there's anywhere between 100 to 200 hours of catching up that I would have to do just to get caught up on the current expansion. And that catching up will be time gated by days and weeks and so on and so forth. And see, that's why we still talk about it. Like, even regardless of the fact that I would play it or I would not play it, you know, because like it's the same thing. If you look back at that Ocarina of Time, like we were saying, right? You know, maybe you don't feel like playing Ocarina of Time right now, but it feels good knowing that you can, right? Like in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I don't feel like playing it right now, but if I wanted to, I could. That's the thing. That's what World of Warcraft players miss. We miss being able to go like, hey, maybe I don't feel like playing it right now, but if I wanted to, I could. Because we actually can't, because the game is in a state that is just, it's atrocious. Or maybe you'll get Wrath of the Lich King Classic soon. Yeah, and maybe they'll put like, what was the name of the thing that they put in for the Burning Crusade? It was the Dark Portal, the Dark Portal Pass or whatever the hell they call that piece of trash. You know? Maybe they'll do something like that. Maybe they'll give us the, you know how you take a boat to go to Northrend? They'll sell you something which will be the speed boat to Northrend, where they'll give you like an EXP boost and a special mount that runs faster than other mounts that you can instantly use. Maybe they'll give you instant flying once you get to Wrath of the Lich King. You know? But anyways, I'm hoping that this can kind of like answer that particular question that I keep seeing like in my thing. Why do you care? I care because I would like to see it get fixed. Because when you stop talking about it, it just means that at that point is when you really just don't give a fuck. And it's like, I don't even think that I would ever go back to having it as my main, but it would be nice to have the option to actually go back and play every now and then, but it's like impossible. And then you have even the co-lead of Blizzard selling boosts, which basically shows you that he doesn't actually understand the negative effect that those have on the community. Because like the pros can tell you all day long that boosts are a normal thing and blah 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 and whatever, because I know that they do. Because, you know, we all know that the pros, they boost because they need to get gold and all of this stuff. But it's like, is that really a good thing for the game? Because when you take into consideration that a big percentage of the population of World of Warcraft, they're actually casual players. They're casual players that are not going to boost. So is it good for them that like all of the good players are just engaging in this circle jerk of boosting other good players? I don't think that's a good thing, but you know, to each their own. Like, do the pro players, the big guilds and stuff, do they think that what is happening in World of Warcraft is actually a good thing with the WoW tokens and shit? Where basically people, you know, if you want to actually progress in the game, and you're like a player that does not have as much time to invest as everybody else, and the interesting thing is, even these players that don't have the time to invest, they're the ones defending this stuff as well. But do they believe that this is like an actual good thing for, you know, if you're a casual player, just expect it to not only pay for your monthly fee, but also to pay for WoW tokens so that you can actually, you know, pay to other players to carry you through content, because almost nobody is doing content in a more normal way. Because this has been reported, like in the Battle Royale videos that we saw, like very few people are actually doing content the normal way. Which is just like, hey, let's find a group and let's do some content. Let's have some fun. No, people are just, they paying the boost. And it's like, I'm sure Blizzard loves it because, you know, these people are basically buying WoW tokens because fuck actually, you know, grinding gold, because that's insane. So you see, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, yeah, sure. People can do it. People do it. Is it a good thing for the game though? No, I don't think so. I think it's terrible. And I think the state that the game is in is atrocious. You know, it's funny, my Dungeons & Dragons campaign that follows WoW Classic to Wrath of the Lich King is way more fun to play. Yeah, I'm not particularly surprised. It's a damn shame. And it's like, imagine if players still did this content. It'd be so cool. There's no need to remove this content from the game, which is essentially what they did. I mean, the content is there, but might as well not be. They might as well vault it or whatever the hell they do over there on Destiny 2, which, that's another can of worms. But yeah. Hopefully that answers that question. And I know that this is not going to be agreed upon by most people, but whatever. That's how I feel. And that's how a lot of World of Warcraft players, ex-World of Warcraft players even, probably feel. Like, we would just like to be able to, you know, every now and then be able to revisit the game and actually feel good about ourselves. Like, that'd be nice.